Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Sexual assault settlement, $100 million. That's the amount Florida jurors are awarding the sexual assault victim of a retired Miami priest. The Miami Herald reports Andres Susana, the victim, brought forth the first allegations that have actually stuck against Father Neil Doherty, a sexual predator of the young who has settled dozens of other cases against him outside of court for $50,000 or less per case. Doherty has been linked to Catholic clergy involved in the gay cabal exposed earlier this year in the report Miami Vice, first publicized by the Gawker magazine, which says in its article about the report that Doherty was known to sleep over at the lavish condominium owned by Father Bernie Curlin. Curlin, a priest known for questionable financial practices, was himself appointed by Bishop Emeritus Favalora of Miami. Clinic's court countdown. A judge has dismissed 49 out of 107 charges against a Kansas abortion clinic after the questionable shredding of documents linked to the Planned Parenthood facility, to breaking abortion laws and falsifying reports. You may remember the Overland Park Clinic in the Kansas City area was brought up on criminal charges in 2007 by Phil Klein, a pro-life Republican and former Attorney General. According to the Associated Press, the documents in question were destroyed by the health department when Kathleen Sebelius, the current pro-abortion Secretary of Health and Human Services, was governor of Kansas. The current Attorney General, Derek Schmidt, is now calling for an investigation to determine if any laws were broken by the shredding of the documents, while a hearing on the remaining charges against Planned Parenthood has been set for February. It is important to note that the 49 dismissed charges were the most serious: 23 felony counts of falsifying reports and 26 misdemeanor charges that the clinic in Kansas failed to maintain its own copies, as required by law. Obama and the bishops. One source is reporting Obama quietly met with Archbishop Timothy Dolan, president of the USCCB, late last week, in the wake of recent turbulence between the White House administration and America's bishops. The National Catholic Reporter says that though the USCCB neither confirmed nor denied the meeting took place, a White House official told the publication the meeting is one of many arranged between the Obama administration and members of the Catholic Church. It is worthy to note a plenary meeting of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops is scheduled to take place in Baltimore, Maryland, next week, at which Episcopal leadership is expected to discuss their new committee on religious liberty. The USCCB has expressed concern over Obama's disregard for religious and free speech rights, forcing contraception and abortion in Obamacare, and efforting the destruction of the Defense of Marriage Act. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Respect replacing reality. Destruction of the Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, is knocking at the front door of the House of Representatives, now that the Senate Judiciary Committee has approved what is being called the Respect for Marriage Act. You may remember the act eliminates the definition of marriage as between one man and one woman, pushing homosexual marriage on America so that same-sex couples can receive the same federal benefits truly married couples receive for their families. The Associated Press says the vote in the committee was clearly split between parties, with the 10 Democrat votes outnumbering those of the 8 GOP members. The repeal of DOMA would ultimately require 60 out of 100 votes to take the Senate, if it gets that far, since the chamber is currently controlled by the Republican Party. Anybody but Romney. Catholic convert Newt Gingrich seems to be garnering some solid support in a campaign atmosphere that is stagnating because of a lack of conviction, according to the latest poll numbers. The Washington Wire reports Gingrich has overtaken Herman Cain, winning 19% of Republicans and Republican-leaning voters, compared to Cain's 17%, also winning the largest number of committed supporters. Though Gingrich is still behind candidate Mitt Romney in the polls, the numbers also say his supporters seem to be more strongly convinced that he should be the presidential candidate for the Grand Old Party. Lee M. Meringoff, director of the Marist Institute for Public Opinion, says voters are no more committed to any one candidate than they were in September, and that there should be a greater sense of conviction by now. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Mike comes to us from the heart of the church. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.